Hey, you're getting lost in plot. Today we're getting lost in the Netflix exclusive Archive 81. And well, I'm by myself today because of Omicron. But not to worry, everyone should be feeling better soon. We'll be back to business as usual. We're getting Wade back here on the show. But now, today is a good day to talk about Netflix. Why not? So let's look at the number one streaming title on Netflix, and it is Archive 81, a supernatural mystery thriller. So our protagonist is a man named Dan, and Dan doesn't have a great job. Dan's profession is restoring old VHS tapes. He's an archivalist for a museum. He restores all the old VHS tapes into nice, pristine, working condition. So as you can imagine, that's a pretty isolated profession, and he leads a pretty desolate, lonely life. Until, wouldn't you know, one day he gets a great job offer. $100K to go out to the Catskills and restore an archive of VHS tapes from an old fire of a downtown New York high-rise building. And against his better judgment, he takes the job because he sees something out of his past in one of the videos. It looks just like the dog he had as a kid, so there must be something here. It's a sign. He takes the job and goes out there, and obviously it becomes much more than he ever expected. So from there we get the archived videos, and we find out the story of a woman who's doing an oral history on the building from 1994 and documenting a lot of strange, mysterious happenings going on in this building. But the pilot episode gives us a lot. It introduces us to Dan. He's propositioned with the job from a mysterious corporation called LMG, and we never do find out what it is that they do, but they are involved, and they've got a research facility up in the Catskills where they set him up, and he's there all by himself, just restoring old videotapes. Now, I will say this is well made. They do a good job of creating dread in the atmosphere, a sense of isolation, mysterious and the supernatural, so that when he is restoring these videos and the weird shit starts happening, they do a good job of bringing in that intrigue and that terror. But at the end of the day, this might be a story that we've seen too many times before. So the high-rise down in New York, the apartment building that he's reviewing the footage from, all of this footage came from a fire. Okay, and then this building was built on top of a mansion that mysteriously burned down a long time ago. So if you're getting a sense of Stephen King, of maybe The Shining, there are influences here. In fact, they even do drop some quotes from The Shining, and in one of the scenes you can see Stephen King books on the bookshelf in this research facility. So it's very much influenced by that, and that's okay. We kind of seem like we're in the exact same lane as The Shining, but there's a problem here that those other films and Stephen King's novels may not have had. We're going to get to the end of this mystery eventually, right? And it's either going to be a satanic cult or something supernatural that happened to this building long ago, and now there's a presence and yada yada. We all know that part. But what really keeps us watching and wanting to find out more about this mystery? It's because we care about the characters and their relationships. And that's where Archive 81 has a problem in this first episode. Dan is not compelling enough for me to really want to go forward with it. Now, we know he's got a little bit of a mental disorder. His family died in a fire long ago. He's traumatized from that. It's probably the reason why he isolates himself from the rest of the world and to this very myopic profession that he does. But that doesn't bring a whole lot of stakes to this unless I care about his safety and welfare. I mean, you took the job, Dan. You took the job. You took the risk. You knew it was a bad job when you took it, but you said you're going to do it anyway. So, okay, I'm on board to kind of find out. But nothing's really compelling me to drive forward and find out that mystery that I think it's going to create a meaningful significance in his life. Now, they tried to do that with a twist that comes at the end of the episode. He sees his own father in one of the videotapes that he's restoring. But even that is falling a little bit short. And I'll tell you the difference when something like The Shining, when Jack Torrance goes out, immediately we care about what's going to happen to him because he's got his wife and his kid there with him, right? There's much more stakes. If something happens to him out there at the Overlook, we're probably not going to care that much. We're definitely not going to sit there for 2 hours or much less an entire season of what's going to happen to this one person there. But when he's got his wife and his son there, now there's more dread because these people are kind of innocents in this whole deal, and we're worried about what might happen to them. Dan, being the lone, isolated guy out there in the Catskills, it's not as compelling given the fact that he also doesn't have any relationships beyond a rat that he saves from a trap during the pilot episode here. So because of that, I don't know that I'd want to even find out much more about this mystery, because who cares? So what in the end? I can kind of predict and think, well, I think it's going to be this, I think it's going to be that, but is that really enough to make me keep watching this season all the way through? No. So I kind of put this one in at a 5 out of 10. It is dead for that sole reason, because I feel like I've seen that story, that mystery before, and as well as it's executed, technically, I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep me watching every episode. So Netflix had a little bit of news recently. They came out. Their fourth quarter earnings report, their subscriber base fell low of expectations. So the stock took a beating, took a tumbling for Netflix. So it's no surprise that old Ted Sarandos was out there announcing to everybody what we already expected. Season 2 of Squid Game is coming. So the other thing that happened is Netflix jacked up the prices on us. Maybe you guys saw that too. $2 more a month for your Netflix subscription. What more are you getting from that? You're getting Squid Game Season 2? It's really kind of a hard sell and a tough one to bite off here, especially because there's so much competition right now in the streaming market with Amazon Prime, with Hulu, with Apple, with HBO Max, with Disney Plus. You're paying for all these things, Paramount Plus, on a monthly basis with your subscription. So Netflix, on average, their most popular streaming package is about $15, $16 per month. That is a bit of a stretch unless you're really into what Netflix has here, because a lot of their content has come from those other networks in the past, and they cycle it in and they cycle it out. But what they're desperate to find is more of this original content that you cannot live without. And they think it's their shows like Squid Game, like a Bridgerton, maybe Archive 81. It's number 1 right now, but I don't know exactly what that means in terms of how popular it is, or if we can trust the Netflix rankings there. So I even have a tough time justifying a Netflix subscription for so much a month when you're not getting much more than you got last year or the year before. So Netflix is still out there fishing, trying to find great content to bring you back, even while the stock price goes down and they're jacking up rates on their customers. These are all not good signs for Netflix, and Archive 81 is kind of stuck here right in the middle of the tempest. But they're looking to a brighter future. I thought it was interesting that they are going with more original Korean content. I think after Parasite won Best Picture, they thought it would be a trend to bring in more Korean language shows and features, and that's what we're doing. That's what we have with Squid Game. That's what we had with The Silent Sea, which is another streaming title there. We've got another feature from Korea coming up later this month. I think All of Us Are Dead. I'm looking forward to that one, I'll say. We'll do a review on that, see if that one's any good. But that is the story going on for Netflix, so not great news. We've hammered Netflix in the past on this show, and we'll probably, we will continue to do that going forward, as well as they start putting out all this content that seems like it was generated by algorithms, which is what a lot of these streaming services are doing. So this one you can take or leave. If you're desperate to find that show to binge through the weekend and discover that there's a mystery here that might be worth watching, go ahead. For me, it's not going to do the job, though. I've got it dead at a 5 out of 10, like I mentioned. If you like this review, make sure that you like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter, because we will be back with more reviews, shows, and films, talking about story and some other exciting stuff coming up this year. Go ahead and leave it in the comments if you liked this episode, if you think I should come back and watch the next episode, if that's going to hook me more than the first one did to kind of finish out this season. Let me know your thoughts. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next one.